Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taya and this is Taya's Turning Pages. So by the title of today's video, you can tell that this is going to be my most anticipated releases of 2022. I'm really excited for all of these books that I found when I was on NetGalley or if I was just doing research on Google. I do have thrillers here, I have romances as well as one nonfiction read. So I'm really excited to share these with you guys, and there are quite a few titles to get through, so let's get started. So the first category I'm going to start off with is romance, and the one book that I'm looking forward to in the new year is Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey. So this is a follow-up to It Happened One Summer, and this story actually follows Piper's sister Hannah and her love story. So we're going to get to see the love story and love blossom between Hannah and Fox. And Fox is known as like the town playboy, so I can't wait to see how this all unfolds because Hannah is very to herself. She's very into her music. She always gives off that energy of like she just doesn't have time for this, honestly. So I can't wait to see how her and Fox's personalities, you know, come together and all of that type of stuff. But you could sense the chemistry in It Happened One Summer, so I knew it was going to happen, of course. But yes, really excited for this one. It Happened One Summer is one of my favorite romances ever, and it was definitely my favorite romance of this year. So I really can't wait to be transported back to that, you know, universe. I heard that this book is a slow burn compared to the first one, so I don't know, we'll see if I can really get into it. I'm starting to get into a little bit more slow burns, but like slowly and gradually. So hopefully by the time that this comes out, I'll be, you know, all prepared for it. But either way, I'm still really happy to read this one. So the next book I'm looking forward to in the new year is Weather Girl by Rachel Lynn Solomon. So this is a story about I think TV meteorologist and a sports reporter. They come together and decide to scheme and try to reunite their two like divorced bosses and get them back together. And of course, as time goes on, they start to get to know each other more. They start working together very closely. It's kind of almost in that forced proximity type of trope, and sparks start to fly. So I just think that this is going to be a really cute read. It is marketed as a romantic comedy, which we need more of those in our books. I just feel like we get a lot of, you know, just regular like romance and like with real life themes and all of that stuff. And I'm not saying that this book isn't going to have that, and I do appreciate that, but sometimes I just want a good romantic comedy that's just gonna make me cackle, you know, like the movies. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I read The X Talk this year by Rachel Lynn Solomon, and I thought it was a brilliant novel. I loved the comms representation. I loved how she explored topics of ageism and sexism in the workplace, and you know, just also mediocrity. I just loved all of the themes and topics that were explored in that book, and I wasn't expecting it, to be honest, from it. I just thought it was going to be more of like a, you know, just like a little fluffy book, and it definitely had real life and real world themes incorporated throughout, and I really enjoyed that. I'm just really excited for it. I think Rachel Lynn Solomon is going to be one of those authors that I'm going to have to keep on my radar because I really like her writing style, and I think she makes her characters very funny, very witty, and they have great banter. So I feel like if this is anything like The X Talk in terms of just like dialogue and again banter between the characters, then I know I'm going to like this one. So the next book I'm looking forward to is By the Book by Jasmine Guillory, and this is marketed as a fairy tale retelling. I'm not sure which fairy tale, but by looking at the synopsis here, it does say that this is about a young woman named Isabel who just is completely lost in life. When she first began her career in publishing right out of college, she didn't expect to be 25, living at home, still an editorial assistant and the only Black employee at her publishing house. So she's overworked and underpaid, and she is really trying to figure out, you know, how she can really elevate her career. So one day she overhears her boss complaining about this one author, I think that's on their roster, that is like a really like best-selling author. He is very high profile, but yet he like refuses, I think, to write another book, or he is taking too long to deliver his manuscript. So Isabella takes it upon herself to try to get this manuscript from this, you know, author. And the way that they describe this author is that he is very like, you know, broody, he's very rude, he's very, you know, kind of mean and standoffish and all of this type of stuff. So Isabel doesn't really realize this or really knows this until she goes to get this manuscript from this author. And of course they start to get to know each other, you know, as time goes on, and I'm assuming they let their guards down. And like I said, with Weather Girl and, you know, all of these other books, sparks start to fly. So I just again think that this is going to be a really nice romantic read. I really enjoyed Jasmine Guillory's books. I will say that every single time. I stand 10 toes down in my opinion when it comes to Jasmine Guillory. I feel like a lot of her books for some are very like polarizing. A lot of people either feel like they're very generic. I hear what y'all are saying, but I personally love the Wedding Date series, and I really like Jasmine's books for the most part, so I'm definitely going to give this one a read, and I can't wait to see where this one goes. I don't think that this one is a part of the Wedding Date universe. I think that this is a standalone book, so I can't wait to see how, you know, her writing style is in this book, and if this is, you know, a lot different than the Wedding Date series. I'm very intrigued to read this and see where it goes. So the next book I'm looking forward to in the new year is Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley, and this is a book that follows a reality star and a cupcake baking football player who has his own bakery, and these two decide to team up and become a fake couple in order to save his bakery. This just is like the quintessential romance, okay? You got the sports romance involved into it, you also have the baking aspect, the fake dating, which is one of my favorite tropes of all time, but also you have the reality TV star element coming into this, which I think is really interesting because I feel like we don't have that many stories that focus on a reality TV star character. You have the actress and actor and all of that stuff, but never a reality TV star in my opinion. So I'm really excited to read this one in particular. Both of the main characters are black, so like also love that. I cannot wait to read this one, and I just think that this is, like I said, going to be one of those stories that is just, you know, cute, probably fluffy, and you could just get through, you know, within like a day or two. Now I'm sure it's probably going to have real world themes and stuff like that, because I feel like a lot of these contemporary romance novels have that nowadays, which is great. But I do feel like this is probably going to be very like, you know, just like cute and cheesy, but like in the best way possible. The last romance book that I'm looking forward to in the new year is Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and this is a story that follows a woman named Nora Stevens who is a literary agent, and she doesn't really, you know, look at herself as like the type of heroine that's like plucky and the laid back dream girl or like the sweetheart. She's really just there to like do her job and go home essentially. She doesn't really find herself extraordinary compared to maybe some of the characters that her clients write about. And then on the flip side, you have a man who is an editor named Charlie Lastra, and he's described as very brooding and very like, you know, kind of standoffish. So Nora actually has to go to North Carolina with her sister Libby for like this girls trip, and she keeps running into Charlie while she is on this trip, and of course they start to get to know each other and fall in love along the way. Like most people that are into books or read books, I really love stories that focus on people that are in the publishing industry or that are like book bloggers or bookstagrammers themselves. I think that is just such like the perfect touch, and it's just very relatable, of course. But I love Emily Henry's writing style for the most part. I loved Beach Read. I gave that a 5 out of 5 stars. One of my favorite romances of this year. Now I did try to read People We Meet on Vacation, and I DNF'd it, y'all. I DNF'd it. I was not a fan. I'm sorry. I could not get behind that book for some reason. I wasn't really interested in the characters. I didn't really care for either one of them, especially Alex, I think his name was, the main like male character. Didn't care for him. And Poppy was okay, but like she just wasn't enough for me to continue going on with the story. So I did DNF and donate that book to my local thrift store. But Beach Read, phenomenal, amazing. Love January and Gus. I thought they were great. So I'm really excited to read this one. I really hope that this one is, you know, the one for me besides Beach Read. I hope I don't DNF this one, but either way, I'm really looking forward to more work from Emily Henry, so I'm definitely going to give this one a try. So moving on from romance, we're gonna jump right into thrillers, and the first thriller that I'm looking forward to in the new year is The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. So this is about a young woman named Jess who needs a fresh start, and she decides to ask her half-brother if she can come crash at his place, and his place is all the way in Paris. So of course Jess is like, why not just start over in Paris, right? So Ben isn't really like happy about Jess coming to stay with him, but because she is his sister or half-sister, he decides to let her, of course. So when she arrives in Paris and arrives to this apartment, she notices that Ben isn't there, but she doesn't really think anything of it until I think a couple days start to go by, and she can't get in contact with him, and she doesn't know where he is. So Jess also starts to notice weird things about like Ben's neighbors and the people that are in Ben's apartment complex, and like the story pretty much takes off from there. So that's pretty much like all I know from the synopsis, but either way that sounds gripping, addictive, and I'm already hooked, and I cannot wait to see how this story unfolds. I haven't read any Lucy Foley books yet. I actually have like I think one of her books on my bookshelf, and it's The Hunting Party. Still have not read that yet, but I've heard a lot of, you know, mixed reviews about Lucy Foley's books. Either way, I'm still going to read The Hunting Party, but I'm also going to read The Paris Apartment. I feel like I'm going to start with this one though first, because this one is just like already holding my interest, and I need to know what happens. I need to know, where is Ben? Why is he not even at his own apartment, right? So yeah, Cannot wait for this one. So the next book on this list is The Fields by Erin Young, and this is about a young woman who unfortunately is found dead in this Iowa cornfield, and the first sergeant or detective that arrives on the scene is someone named Riley Fisher, and Riley was actually promoted to this like position as sergeant, and when she gets to the crime scene she recognizes the victim and realizes that this is an old childhood friend, and stuff from Riley's past starts to bubble back up to the surface. So this just sounds like this is going to be right up my alley, okay? I feel like there's going to be some psychological elements in it, but it's also going to have some true crime things and all of that type of stuff. This is marketed as a debut, so Erin Young is, you know, coming out the gate probably swinging with this book, and I cannot wait to read this. This also gives me the vibes of Everything We Didn't Say, because there is a mention of agriculture, like big agriculture in this story. I don't know how much of a plot point that is going to serve, but either way, I feel like I'm going to really enjoy this because I really loved Everything We Didn't Say, and I really like the big agricultural part of it, which I didn't think I was going to. So yeah, this one I know is probably going to be right in my alley. So the next thriller I'm looking forward to in the new year is The Long Weekend by Gillian Macmillan, and this is a story that says right here, 3 couples, 2 bodies, 1 secret. So this does follow a group of people like I mentioned earlier, and this starts off as a trip. So all of these couples go to this island, I'm pretty sure, or this like resort or retreat or whatever, and it is pretty isolated. So the wives arrive before the husbands, and when the wives get there, they're having a great time, everything is going well, until one of them, I think, discovers this note that says one of their husbands is going to die. And so these women, of course, are going to have to figure out how they're going to all get out of this situation alive and who is doing this, etc., etc. So this does give me, like, you know, One by One by Ruth Ware vibes, as well as just like The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley, like the synopsis, like, you know, just that like isolated trope, a group of people, somebody is going to die, that type of situation. I love these type of stories, even though I don't read them that much. Even though these type of stories are cliche and use the same type of formula, I still enjoy them, and I still think they're fun thrillers to read for the most part, and they're easy to get through, so like, why not? So yeah, this doesn't have the best ratings on Goodreads already, I'm not gonna lie, but either way, I'm still going to read it and give it a try, and we'll see. So the next thriller I have on this list is The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenkauf, and this is a atmospheric chilling thriller, that's what it's described as. And right here it says true crime writer Wiley Lark doesn't mind being snowed in the isolated farmhouse where she's retreated to write her new book. So she has the ambiance set up, she's chilling by the fire writing her book, and like I said, she is snowed in, and all of a sudden she notices outside of her window this small child just in the snow. So of course she opens her door and lets this child in to get some warmth and to try to figure out what is going on and who this child is. But as time goes on, Wiley starts to notice things start happening, and she starts to realize that maybe she's not as isolated as she thought, and the story pretty much takes off from there. So that's pretty much all I know about the synopsis, but either way, again, another interesting thriller. I can't wait to see how this one unfolds. I feel like we're gonna have some psychological elements involved in this, and you know, I want to know who is out there, who is watching Wiley and this child. I wonder if it's going to give No Exit vibes, just because of, again, of that isolated snowy trope. I'm like comparing every thriller to No Exit because I want another book that is like a No Exit, that gives me that feeling, that heart pumping, nail biting type of experience that No Exit gave me. So maybe this one will give it to me, I'm not sure. It does have pretty good reviews on Goodreads already, so that's a positive sign, but I guess we'll see. The last thriller that I have on this list is The Club by Ellery Lloyd, and so right here it says that this is a smart and sinister murder mystery set in the secretive world of exclusive celebrity clubs where the A-list members and the staff who serve them all have something to hide. So again, giving that One by One vibe, giving probably, you know, just that like whodunit vibe, and I like the fact that this takes place in a like luxurious club, A-list, secret, exclusive type of situation. I think that this is going to be really interesting. Again, another book that has really great reviews on Goodreads so far, and I don't really put too much on Goodreads reviews. Like, I will still pick up a book even if it doesn't have the best reviews to make that judgment call for myself, but I still like to see what people are saying about it at the very least, and I'm glad that this is already getting positive reviews. I never read anything by Ellery Lloyd before, so we will see how this goes, but right here on the cover it says The Club, everyone's dying to join. Oh, and that sounds so good. I feel like this is probably going to be like my most anticipated thriller besides The Paris Apartment. I think that these two are like my most anticipated thriller releases, but we will see, guys, we will see. Last book that I have on this list is a nonfiction, and it is Let's Get Physical: How Women Discovered Exercise and Reshaped the World by Danielle Friedman. So this is a nonfiction read, like I mentioned, and this does talk about the untold history of women's exercise culture, from jogging and jazzercise to Jane Fonda, and how women have parlayed physical strength into forms of power. So I just think that this is going to be an insightful and informative read. I'm one of those people that loves to learn about the most random things. Think Snapple facts. I just love learning about random things and learning in general. And you know, I never really thought about this, but when you really do think about it, like the whole athleisure wear and trend that we have today, and just like, you know, exercise culture in general, I do think that, you know, it is interesting when you look at it from a woman's perspective, because like, yeah, like you just see a lot more women working out, and a lot more women, again, wearing the whole athleisure trend and all of that type of stuff. So I just think that this is going to be really insightful. I feel like I'm going to get a lot of, you know, knowledge and things out of this that I did not know before, especially about the whole Jane Fonda and home workout craze. My mom told me that she did have a few VHS tapes that, you know, came out from Jane Fonda's like brand, where she was doing, again, her home workouts, and I just think that is hilarious. I just love nonfiction reads. I'm always going to, you know, pick up a nonfiction book if it interests me and go from there. I think that they're really fun to read, especially if you get to learn something new or something that you're really interested in, or something that you didn't know you were interested in before, but you read the book and now you are. Alright y'all, and those are a few of the books that I am anticipating for 2022. I think I have a really great list here, a really great diverse list of books in terms of genres and things like that, so I cannot wait to dive into every single one of these books. Of course, there are going to be more that come out in the new year that, you know, aren't on this list or that we don't know about just yet, but either way, I'm really excited about all of these books that I just shared with you today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure you subscribe, like, and comment down below. I really appreciate it. Also, please follow me on my Bookstagram. I am more active over there, and I do update in real time, so my Instagram followers already got to figure out and know what books I'm anticipating in the new year. So again, if you want to keep up with me in real time, please follow my Bookstagram. It is linked down below, and I also included at the end of this video, as well as my story graph, just in case you want to keep up with, you know, my reading progress and anything like that. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video though, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.